know, he had an expression he used in many of his speeches that goes something like this. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. You know, brothers and sisters, he wasn't talking about some strange laws of physics. He was talking about when we come together as a labor movement and come together with the community, that we bend that arc every time we demand social and economic justice. So what I want to do, I want us to bend that arc a little bit more today. We're bending it just about here. But I want to ask you some questions. I want to give you a hint. The answers are real simple. Hell no or hell yes. Okay, so we're not, all right? Will we let them take away our collective bargaining rights? Will we let them contract out our jobs? Will we let them cut our health benefits? Will we let them pit private sector workers against public sector workers? Will we let them destroy our workers' comp system? Will we let them vilify immigrant workers? Will we let them close our institutions for the developmentally disabled? But should they close tax loopholes? Should they close the exemption for interstate banks? Should they close a loophole on private jets and country clubs and yachts? That's what I thought you'd say. That's right. Enough is enough. It's moral budget and moral responsibility. It's time to put people first. It's time to protect the vulnerable and the poor. It's time to protect injured workers. It's time to help our students. It's time to create jobs. It's time to rebuild the middle class. These things we demand in the name of the people because we are! Something that Janet Stecker and the Seattle Labor Force are reviving in the state of Washington. So we brought them here today to get us rocking, to get us singing. Thank you so much.
Okay, không biết chỉ có bỏ
Which side are you on? Which side?
Ok, cái gì tối thì
Which side are you on? Which side?
vậy ha.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side?
Có đâu chở Olympia. Tháng 2 chị đi với lại Hảo, chị lên tới Olympia. Bên chuyên ngành đó nè. Rồi có gì là tối nay chị không có đi làm, chiều về rồi
www.tomlilly.com. We have a blog with a press release and everything. Which side are you on? 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 Which side are you on?
continue the work of Dr. King for justice and equality for all workers. Brothers and sisters, we also gather here today to show our solidarity for the workers in Wisconsin, Ohio, Florida, and all the other states where public employees are being scapegoated by budget breakers. And right here in Washington State, we have similar legislation that has been introduced not by the Republicans, but by the Democrats. These bills would have gutted our union contracts, and though we opened our contracts and have taken concessions to save the state over $10 million this year, it's not enough. For some, Senator Mary Margaret Haugen continues to push bills that would strip collective bargaining rights away from the MMP captains and the MEBA chief engineers. While other bills take away our right to arbitrate our grievances and take us out of the Marine Employees Commission, which is where our grievances and disputes are heard. The MEC was won in a strike back in 1980, where also the ILWU shut down the port so we could win that. Taking us out of the MEC is not going to save us. So we have to ask ourselves, why the attack? We need your help to beat back this legislation. So please call your legislators and tell them not to support SB 5742 or SB 1516. We have flyers so you can have the information. Brothers and sisters, this war on public employees is about all of us. Students, private sector, public sector. We all have to be together to fight back. The real cause of the budget deficit is the recession brought on by the greed and deregulation of Wall Street and the anti-union politicians that have been cutting taxes for corporations and the super rich. And let's not forget about the two wars that we're engaged in, draining our resources. We can't continue to elect representatives, take our money, and then stab us in the back when we need them. We can't trust them to protect us. Martin Luther King said, at the end, we will remember the words of our enemies. We will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. So my friends, today I ask you, in the spirit of Martin Luther King, are you ready to stand up for the workers of Wisconsin? And are you ready to stand up for the very workers of Washington State? Are you ready to continue the dream to make Martin Luther King's dream a reality? I thought so, because in labor we have a saying, an injury to one is an injury to all. Let's work together to stop the war on workers.
Good afternoon, union members!
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Nature must have a union to bring weather like this today. This is great. I've always wondered the questions answered now when Yazdar at Woodstock felt going out in front of the crowd there. This is incredible. Give yourself a hand. So by way of introduction, my name's Greg Parker. I'm president of Washington Public Employees Association. I'm honored to speak here today with you on behalf of WPA's 4,600 state and public employees. There are affluent interests and elected officials of both parties who want to see labor divided. We can work our way out of this recession if the legislature would simply close tax loopholes and insist that corporations share the sacrifice that public employees have all made. And instead, what does the legislature do? They put together an all-cuts budget and throw us the scraps and ask us to fight over the rest. They've cut public again.